Thank you so much. Hi, nice to see you. Welcome everyone. How are you?
Good.
Hashem, God bless you. We would like to do today Parashat VaYechi, and we're talking here about the blessings, okay, that Yaakov gave his sons and his grandsons. And I would like to
I'm happy with that. Okay. Blessings.
and this class we'll touch some parenting tips here, okay? And we do this shiur Leilu Nishmat Michael ben Rachel and Sarah Bat Yeshua. Okay, I read a story this week. We all doing siyumim of the Shas now, 7.5 year cycle. So there was this woman that she was a nurse. Her job was a nurse. Okay, she worked in a hospital. She used to do night shifts. Night shifts are not easy, very hard. Anyway, her little son, told her that they need to do. They made a siyum. They finished, a portion of the parsha of the portion of the Torah, something that they finished. And they wanted to make a siyum. For the siyum, usually the mother sends a cake or cupcakes or cookies or something. So he asked his mom if she could prepare a cake for him. She said, sure, no problem. And she started to prepare a cake. For the siyum, she would probably do for little kids a chocolate cake with all kind of small candies on top, or sprinkles, or something. But then she remembered that her sister is doing an engagement party that week. She thought, why won't I do also a nicer cake for the engagement party? And she really did a lot. She did it, with layers and with decorations and designing this and that. She really spent some time on this cake. She prepared these 2 cakes. Each one she put on a different shelf in the refrigerator, and she notified her son that she prepared for him a cake, and tomorrow morning he can take it to the school. So meanwhile, she went to her job. She went to work, night shift, yeah. And in the morning, her son gets up. He didn't realize, and he took the fancy cake. He took the fancy cakes to school. The Rebbe saw this cake. He never saw such a cake for a siyum. And he tells people, whoa, look at this. Look how beautiful is this cake. So he takes it to the teacher's room and he shows this cake to everyone. And they look at this, yo, that's so magnificent. That's beautiful. That's gorgeous. That's beautiful. And they basically, they're all speaking about this cake, okay? One of them suggested to take it to the principal, show it to the principal. The principal showed it and he was shocked. He never saw such a beautiful cake. So he told everyone, all the older grade kids, to come, to share, to be in that classroom siyum, because there's such a beautiful cake. Apparently, somebody cared very, very much for the fact that their son learned Torah and made a siyum, and she invested so much on this cake, and so they would really celebrate together with this special cake. So you can understand how much honors and respect and attention got this child, this Moshe, okay, that day, the day of the siyum. In the morning, when the woman, the mother, she came home back from job, she wanted to take to drink a milk or something. So she realized that her son took the other cake, not the one that he was supposed to take, the one with the sprinkles, with the chocolate, left in the refrigerator. For the first second, she said, maybe I'm going to call to school and said there was a mistake. But then she said, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's already went to school, I guess it was supposed to be for the siyum, and she left it as is. When her son came afternoon, he was all shining. He was so happy. He came and told his mama, you don't understand. All the teachers, the principal, my friends, they all told me, you love Torah so much. You really, invested so much because you like the fact that I did a seal. Of course, she never told him ever what happened. And it's there like that. Nice, beautiful memory. Baruch Hashem, Moshe, he grew up, he got married, he had his own family. One day he came to visit his mother. And he tells her, they were sitting talking on a cup of coffee. And his mother, I don't know, from randomly, she just came up with this cake. Oh, you remember this cake? She really wanted to tell him what happened. And then when she mentioned the cake, he kind of became very serious. And then he tells to his mom, it was time that, they both opened up, I guess. He told her, you know something? I had some situation that I never shared it with you. When he was in high school, his parents sent him to a yeshiva out of the house because the close, good yeshiva wasn't next to the house. He went to a dormitory. In his room, there were some not good friends in his room, and they made him watch all kind of videos and do all kind of stuff, and he really went down and down and down. In America they call it ODT, OTD, of the derech kazeh, almost. They all decided that they want to buy tickets and to travel out of state. They all issued passports. They bought already the tickets. They went to the airport. They sent already the luggage. They signed already their passports, and they were already in the duty-free area. When all of a sudden, an image came into him. That cake. He doesn't even know why he remembered all of a sudden this cake. And he said to himself, my mother invested so much. She showed so much love to the Torah, to me, by the fact that she did this cake. I cannot do it to her, even not telling her where you're going. He told his friends, I'm not coming with you. They started to make fun of him. You're scared of flights. You're a coward. Why do you have cold feet now? No. But he said, I cannot really do it to my mother. And he went back. He went back to yeshiva. He went back to his room. No one knew about this. He went back to study, like nothing happened, and it was forgotten. By the time Baruch Hashem, he became more serious. He started to study even more. His bad friends weren't next to him, and he was okay. So he told his mom, you don't understand how this special cake that you did, how it saved my life. Wow. Now you think, I read it this week, story, that they do for all these siyumim of the Shas. It's beautiful. What does it teach us? When you show that to your children, that the fact that they learn Torah, the fact they learn Gemara, prophets, Navi, Halacha, Judaism, right? If you show that it's important to you, it's going to be important to him too. It's a very, very strong thing. We don't realize, but the fact that we sometimes silently encourage our children, it gives them so much strength, and they need it. They need the approval that they are good kids, that they are caring, that they are loving, and we have to keep complimenting them, giving them the strength. How would they cope with all these challenges in this world if not, us parents giving them the strength and the belief that they're able to do it, that they're capable, that they can conquer the world if they want. Okay? So this is a beautiful thing that we see here. I also read about how Mordechai Schwab, he once told a story about a family in Europe, okay? A family in Europe, the father, he was a tailor. He dealt with all kinds of materials, And when his child, Daniel, became 17, he was very talented. He asked him to join and help him in the business. So the child, okay, he started to help the father in the business. Sometimes they had to go to business trips. Sometimes he has to go and do some trading, some this and that. And he was very talented. He was able to do it. All the trips usually would take one day and come back. But one time it happened that he had to go for 5 days to Switzerland. He was in Europe, to Switzerland, and to do some kind of trading or business trip over there. So Daniel, he left, okay? He went to that business trip. He took his tefillin, but the father realized that he forgot to take his talit. Oh, in Germany, the boys, even though they're single, they're wearing also talitot. And he forgot to take it. He didn't know if the boy forgot to take it purposely or he just forgot. He didn't know what to do. So he decided to take the train, 5-hour drive, to bring him the talit in case he forgot, well, 5 days is going to be without the talit, and to come back. So as he reaches to his son, the son is, what are you doing here? What happened? Something wrong? Why did you come? He said, I think you forgot something. And he showed him the talit. The son got so embarrassed. Yes, I did, but you didn't have to come all the way to bring me this. Don't worry, don't worry. The father told him, I know that it's important to you. This type of action taught the child, okay, even though he was already 17, 18, taught him how important is this talit. One of the rabbi, when he was, somebody told him this story, he said the father didn't go for the son, he didn't go for the talit, he went for the next generation. All his kids, all his family, they're going to keep talking how this talit is so important in that family. And in fact, this boy, as he grew up, he became a father and then a grandfather himself. Every time he would go, he would buy to his kids, his grandkids, talitot, to remind them, their special story, their special minhag. The talit, it's something that you don't, it's a precious, it's something that is very, very important. This is what we're talking about here. We're talking about Yaakov in this Pasha that calls for Yosef HaTzadik, his brother, his son, and his children, okay, Menashe and Efraim, and all the other tribes, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, all the others, to give them blessings before he dies. Yosef hears that his father is sick, and of course, he goes to him and hears whatever he has to say. He sees Menashe and Efraim, and you all know whatever is written in the parasha. Yosef puts Menashe, okay, to the right side of Yaakov, and Ephraim, the youngest, to the left side of Yaakov, and he wants them to bless him. What did Yaakov do? He crossed his hands, okay, put his right hand on Ephraim, the youngest one, and the left hand on Menashe, and it bothered so much Yosef. Or whatever you remember, this family had problems, not problems, but they have issues with brachot, this family, Yeah, when Yitzchak, he became old, he asked Esau to go and hunt something for him because he wants to bless him before he dies. And then Rivka switched the boys, Yaakov went inside, and Esau was left out. Yosef didn't want such a thing to happen now to his own son. Why? What's wrong with Menashe that you have to bless Ephraim? What's wrong with him? He's way older. Menashe was Yad Yamino, was the right hand of his father. He used to help him so much, to be the second to the king, the biggest empire of the world at that time, Egypt. And Yosef used to do everything on his own. But, Menashe was helping him all the time. Why not? He's a great boy. He's a tzaddik also. We have the Midrashim explain how Menashe was tzaddik also, how strong he was like all the other tribes, how, it speaks. And Yaakov preferred Ephraim. So Yaakov tells him, don't worry, don't worry. The younger boy is going to be even greater than the older one. And again, it bothers Yosef. Why do you do that? Don't do that. Don't do whatever you preferred me from my brothers, from all the other tribes. And what did it cause? Just jealousy and hatred and holding grudge and negative feelings. I don't need my kids to have the same feelings. Don't do this. And the father tells him, Yadati b'ni yadati, don't worry, I know that your kids are going to be fine. What did he see there, Yaakov? What did he see? So the Mefarshim, they tried to explain something very, very interesting. Menashe and Ephraim, okay, both of them were born in Egypt, in exile. They were not born in Israel, like all the other tribes, in Egypt. What type of land is Egypt? Land of Tum'ah. What it can teach little kids that are grown in this type of a society, in this type of a company, in this type of a place, environment. And so being so much far from Kedusha, from purity, from holiness, from Yaakov Avinu, what type of kids could they turn up into the Menashe and Ephraim? And so, every one of them represents a different approach to exile, to this concept that's called Mitzrayim. Okay? Menashe represents, what is the name Menashe? Why did Yosef call him Menashe? Ki nashani Elokim et kol amali ve'et kol bet avi. I was forgotten by my family, by my father, by my household, okay? Kol amali, all my hardships that I had to face. And you see that this name represents kind of negativity, okay? He remembers too much the past, or whatever he went through, the difficulties he had with his brothers, the hatred that they had in between, the jealousy that they had. This is what the name Menashe represents. What does Ephraim represents? Ephraim says, Ki Ifrani Elokim. Okay? מה זה Ephraim? Ifrani. מלשון פריה ורביה. Multiply. Blessing. Even though I am in Mitzrayim, I didn't concentrate on the past. I went forward. I went to the future. I built a family. Hashem gave me blessing. I multiplied. I became wide. I flourished. Okay, this is what Ephraim represents. Yaakov tries to tell Yosef, Menashe is a good boy. He's a righteous boy. He's a very, very good boy. But I want you to concentrate on positive, on the future, on building, on flourishing, on being positive. Not only to remember whatever happened in the past. Think about the future. Yes, it's important. You cannot build the future without the past. If you have a strong foundation, you can build a good future. Okay, so Menashe is important too. That's why he's blessing Menashe. But Ephraim is stronger. Of course, we know that also from Ephraim came Yehoshua, came some other good leaders, and this is the reason that he blessed Ephraim. We see all over that Yehoshua needed a lot of encouragement and a lot of strength to be able to lead Am Yisrael after Moshe. Moshe was the greatest leader. No one could replace Moshe. And so from the beginning, whenever Yehoshua was designated to become the leader after Moshe, Hashem keeps encouraging him. Ya Yoshiach, והשם ייתן לך כוח, constantly Hashem gives him strength. And it's already from here, from Ephraim, that he gets the strength to be able to bring Israel to Israel, to the Holy Land, to the Promised Land, and to continue whatever Moshe Rabbeinu started. So, whenever we are in Galut, in Mitzrayim, in America, okay, whatever we're supposed to do, Yaakov is not next to us, okay, and we don't really see so much holiness around us, okay. Remember that Ephraim is the target. Ephraim is our goal, okay. This is the right approach, okay. So this is whatever we see. Another thing that we see in this topic, which is so strong, we see, and we see it so much in the Torah. There is the firstborn, the Bechor, the first child in the family, and usually it's not the chosen one. First, let's go in the beginning of the history. We had Adam Rishon that had two children, right? Cain and Hevel. Cain was the oldest, Hevel was the youngest. Cain brought a sacrifice, but Hashem didn't like it. Hashem chose Hevel's sacrifice. What happened? Cain felt jealousy towards Hevel, and he killed him. By the way, the world was not created not from Cain and not from Hevel. Then he had another boy, Adam Rishon, his name was Shet, okay? שממנו נשתת העולם. All the world was founded from him, from Shet, not from Cain, not from Hevel. Okay? Then, as we speak about Judaism, we have Avraham. Avraham had Yitzchak and Ishmael. Ishmael was the oldest, and Ishmael wasn't chosen. Yitzchak was chosen. Okay? So, disputes between brothers. Then we have Yitzchak Avinu that have the twins, Esav and Yaakov. Esav was the oldest. Esav was not chosen. Yaakov was chosen. Then we had Yaakov and all the 12 tribes. Reuven was the oldest, the Bechor, the firstborn, and he wasn't chosen. Okay?
Again, what?
Reuven was the oldest from all the tribes. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and he wasn't chosen. He wasn't the Bechor anymore. Yosef became the leader, but the Bechor. Yehuda got kingship, okay? Levi got kehuna. Reuven didn't get anything. And so the Midrash in Shir HaShirim says, where do we see that brothers, they live in brotherhood, in a good relationship?
Moshe?
Moshe and Aaron. Moshe and Aaron is a pair of brothers that really live peacefully with one another. And another couple before them, Yosef and Binyamin, two children of Rachel Imenu, also loved each other very much. It's just that Yosef and Binyamin didn't live close to one another. They were separated. Also, Moshe and Aaron did not live with one another.
I can't say that because they're separate.
They were separated. He lived in the palace, and at the age of 15, when he went to see what's happening, he killed this Egyptian, and he had to run away. So for so many years, until the age of 80, he didn't even see his brother. He didn't even live with him. But yet, Hashem testified himself to Moshe, he's going to be happy to see you, to give you the leadership, even though till now Aaron was the leader. He's going to be happy. Which pair of brothers we see that live with each other and had harmony? Good harmony.
Issachar and Zvulun.
Menashe and Efraim
I was about to say.
lived with each other. And this is the reason that every Shabbat, whenever we bless the children, we say this blessing that Yaakov gave to Menashe and Efraim. Simcha Elohim ke'Efraim v'Menashe. We don't say Simcha Elohim ke'Avraham, Yitzchak ve'Yaakov, like we say for women, okay, for girls we say Simcha Elohim ke'Sara, Rivka, Rachel ve'Leah. We say ke'Menashe ve'Efraim, ke'Efraim v'Menashe. First Ephraim, then Menashe. Why? Because Yaakov Avinu saw that they didn't grow up with him. He couldn't affect them, he couldn't influence on them, he couldn't teach them, he couldn't show them what's purity, what's impurity, what's kedusha, what's holiness. And even though they were grown up, they were raised in Egypt, the source of contamination in the world, they stayed righteous. That's what he liked. Because the key for success, for education, is not always when the kids are around you. When I'm going to send you away, how are you going to act? Will you continue keeping tradition or not? When I'm not next to you, this is the test to see if the children, they go with the footsteps of the parents. So when he saw that Yosef instilled so much in them, okay, and they became really righteous, this is when he blessed them. He said, "Becha yevarech Israel." All Israel are going to be blessed like children like you. And another thing, of course, when Yaakov said to Yosef, "Yadati bni yadati," don't worry, I know. What did he say? I know. What exactly I know? I know that these children, Menashe and Efraim, are not going to fight. Because when he put his right hand onto Ephraim and his left hand into Menashe wasn't jealous. And he was happy with the fact that his little brother gets the blessing more than him. Why? Because Yosef went through so much. He suffered hatred. He suffered jealousy and negative feelings and all. And he made sure that his children, they don't act the same. Kept talking all the time, kept giving them the right example. And we see that Yosef really, really worked on his character traits not to be negative. After so many years, when he meets his brothers, naturally, a person like that would avenge on his brothers. You did to me like this, well, I'll show you. Now I'm in power and let me show you whatever I could do to you. But he worked so much throughout the years, he worked so much on himself not to come to these points, to see the whole picture, to know that Hashem running the world, not him. Hashem purposely made them come to Egypt so that he would be able to support all of them. And so, אתם חשבתם לרעה, אבל Hashem חשב על הטובה. Hashem made everything for a reason. And so, working on himself so much, okay, spoke with his children, make sure that his kids would not go through this, would not let this happen. And Baruch Hashem, Yaakov saw that these children, Menashe, are totally different, are not the same at all. He did a mistake, Yaakov. Yaakov preferred a child, Yosef, on the others when he gave him this ketonet pasim. Yosef made sure not to do this mistake. And Baruch Hashem, his kids grew up to become very, very...
So Yosef had two boys?
He had two boys.
That's it.
It says before the hunger, before the famine, he had two boys. Maybe he had some more after, I don't know. But we know about Menashe and Ephraim. And so... also, Yaakov teaches the next generation another thing. He said, Menashe was his father's helper. But what did Ephraim do all this time? Ephraim was learning Torah with his grandfather in Goshen, Eretz Goshen. He was serving his grandfather. He stayed with him, he learned with him, and he became very great in Torah knowledge. When Menashe was also great in Torah knowledge, but he helped his father, was busy with other affairs, with other things. So he tells his kids, his family, all of Israel, whatever is more important, whatever I prefer is the Torah knowledge. Because if you learn Torah, if you invest in Torah, if you send your children to yeshivot, if they excel in Gemara, in learning, in this and that, that's much, much more better, much stronger, okay, than doing regular jobs, okay, even though it's also important. So this is something that Yaakov teaches us. And okay. Okay. עכשיו, I wanted to tell you, so we want to prevent these problems between brothers. We want to create a good harmony between kids. They shouldn't feel jealous at one another, shouldn't fight constantly. What tips can we get, to prevent this type of problems? Number one, to prevent jealousy between brothers, it's very important that the parents give the needs to the children equally, as much as possible. What do I mean? If a child needs love, if a child needs warmth, if a child needs even money, physical needs, spiritual needs, okay? As much as you can, give it equally. Don't prefer one child on the other, unless there's a specific reason, okay? We're talking about normal children, okay? It's good to divide these resources that you have equally between the kids, because naturally if one child gets more, the other will get jealous, the other will get upset, the other will have all kind of negative feelings inside, and we want to prevent this, okay? Number two, don't compare. We tend to do it so often we don't even realize. He got a better mark in the grade, in the test. Look at him. Why he got a better mark and you didn't? Why his room, your brother's room, is so tidy, so fixed, is so organized? Why you're not organized?
Yeah.
Why? Take example from a sentence like "take example from your sister or from your brother," drives them nuts.
Oh, yeah.
They can't stand it. It bothers them. And when we say sentences like that, we provoke on them. Okay, and so, okay, number three, let them get along by themselves. Many times we hear fights in their rooms, and we come to intervene. Who started? Why? There, and you start to be the judge, and you're doing the mistake of your life, because they will take, somehow you're going to be responsible for everything. They will blame you, and they will, and then they think you're taking sides. That's not fair. You always prefer him. You always in his favor, this and that, and you become the worst enemy in the end. They will somehow get managed, and you become the enemy. So you don't need this. Of course, we don't allow. Physical abuse and fights and violence, and also verbal violence we don't allow, okay? But sometimes, let's say, you're allowed, another thing that we're talking here about, you're allowed to give them a way to express their feelings, even negative feelings. Again, we're not, if he tells you something like, I hate him, to his other brother, or something like, you're my worst brother, I wish you weren't here, God forbid, sentences like this, sometimes they say. And so it's good to sit down and talk about this, okay? Don't let him, if he cannot express his feelings, so he accumulates much more grudge, much more negative inside him, much more bitterness, and we have to let him talk about his feelings. So it's good to sit and talk, and so he can express him, and you could guide him, and you can tell him, you could navigate him, what's right, what's wrong, explain him certain things, okay? And that could be helpful. It speaks in Sefer Melachim Aleph about a time of famine. If you remember, it was the time of Eliyahu Navi. Eliyahu Navi had a debate with Achav. Achav was a very, very bad king. And Eliyahu punished him and the nation. He said, so from now on it's going to be hunger. And it was really famine. It was very, very hard. And because he was scared from Achav, he went to, it says, to Tzafat Asher Betzidon. It's in the north of Israel, to hide from the king. He went to the Isha HaTzafatit, a woman that lived in that area, and she let him hide in her house. This woman, she was a widow, and she had a little boy, the only boy that she had. Now it's time of famine. Time of famine, there's no food to eat. Everyone takes care on the, you know, she's a widow. She's not rich. She's a very, very poor woman, and she has only one boy. She can't feed another man like Eliyahu Navi. And he came. Okay, see, she doesn't mind to hide him in her house, but she tells him, "I have nothing to feed you." And he tells her, "So what do you have at home?" She says, I have ingredients, some flour and some oil for one meal, last meal for me and my son. That's it, I have nothing else. And he blessed her, Eliyahu Navi, that because she took care of him, because she didn't care so much about herself, she wanted to, to care for this special man, for this holy man, he blessed her that as long as there's famine, the food is not going to end in her house. She's constantly is going to have food in her house, both flour or grains or whatever, and the oil and whatever she needs. And really, she had this all the time. Now, in the Bible, it doesn't really explain who was this woman, but Chazal tell us that this woman was the mother of Yonah Hanavi. Who was Yonah Hanavi? We read about him on Yom Kippur. Yonah Navi was supposed to go and give the prophet for the Nineveh, come, repent, do tshuva. He didn't want to do that. Why didn't he want to do that? Also because he had the character traits of his mother. His mother was very kind, and she gave Mesirut Nefesh for Am Yisrael, for Eliyahu Navi. He also wanted to do the same. What happens? If he goes and he gives this prophecy to the non-Jewish people, the non-Jewish people tend to listen much faster than Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael, they're stubborn. They're not easy people. And if they will repent and do tshuva right away, so then it's a criticism on Am Yisrael. How come Gentiles are doing tshuva, okay, working on themselves, working on their, become closer to Hashem, and you Jewish people are not like that? So he didn't want them to criticize Am Yisrael because of that, and he didn't want to do this prophecy. And he was willing to suffer and to be tortured. And he ran away, and this fish ate him up, and he suffered. It wasn't easy for him over there, just so that it's not going to be hard on Am Yisrael. Where did he get this from, Yonah Navi, if not from his mother? So you see that parents, they give, they call the traits to the children. It says in Midrash on Sefer Iyov that Leah tafsa pelech haodaya, meaning Leah used this tool of thinking. When Yehuda was born, what she say? Apam odet Hashem. She was every wife of Yaakov was supposed to have only 3 kids. If you calculate 4 women, so 3 kids each one. She got the 4th one. So she says, Hashem, thank you so much. I got extra child. Because she gave thanks to Hashem, all her children, her offspring that came out of her, were also this kind of children that gave thanks to Hashem. Yehuda, it says, Tzadka mimeni, he also admitted Hoda'ah. David kept praising Hashem constantly all the time. Hodu Hashem kitov, all these Sefer Tehillim that we know is constantly praises to Hashem. Daniel was also, it says in Aramaic, but basically the same words like David HaMelech. And so constantly. Rachel, her sister, תפסה פלח השתיקה. She used the tool of silence. וכל בניה היו בני מסתירים. All her children, offsprings, using this tool of silence, of covering, of concealing. Speaks about Shaul. Shaul became the first king. What did it say about Shaul? ודבר המלוכה לא הגיד. Shmuel just crowned him to be king. Think about Trump, or think about any president or any official that was elected to become a president, a mayor, a prime minister. Well, he's going to keep it to himself. He's going to make everyone know, right? Shaul, okay, was nominated, got this position. He didn't say it to no one. You need all of the strength for that. Binyamin, her son, Rachel's Binyamin, Rachel's son, her stone in the Choshen was Yashve. That's the name of the stone. What is Yashve? Yashve means Yesh Pe. He had a mouth, he could talk, but he never revealed the fact that his brother sold Yosef. Because they made this agreement not to tell the father. He could talk, but he didn't say a word. Binyamin was this type of a person that kept quiet. Binyamin knew and he was quiet. Esther. And Esther Magedet Amma Woladeta doesn't talk. How many times this Achashverosh tried to tell her, come on, where are you coming from? Tell me, tell me. She never revealed where she's from. This is a strength that only the offsprings of Rachel got them. Okay, so how do we get this? We get this, the Midrash says that the children, they get the quality traits of parents. See how much we have to work on ourselves in order for our children to emulate us. I read this research that says that many people think that the fact that the most main ingredient or indicator for the success of the children is parents' high education or economical status. And it says, or maybe, and it says it's not true. This research was written in Journal of Labor Economics, and the researchers from Ohio University, together with some Israeli researchers, they analyzed all kind of data that they found about that they did for 700,000 boys and girls. It's a big number, okay? And they found that quality time with children is the strongest ingredient for the children's success. When the parents spend good time with children, okay? Not how much money you have. Okay, not how educated you are, if you have this degree and that degree, no. How much time you spend with your children. It's so important. So here are some ideas how to have quality time with kids. Have some bedtime talk. It's very important, you know. Kids, they like usually to postpone bedtime. So, and they open up, they don't want to talk. During the day, you try to catch them, they're busy, they're not into talking. But that time, you know, after shower, with their pajamas, they don't mind that you come to their bed and you talk, you know, could be serious, could be light, could be whatever you want to open up, you know. He doesn't want to go to sleep, she doesn't want to go to sleep. They don't mind speaking. So it's a good time, not to make it stressful time, you know, so, because you want for her, for him to open up. So this physical closeness helps the atmosphere and to strengthen the relationship between a mother and daughter, mother and son. Preparing a meal together. Very, very good, you know. Sometimes, you could go, let's say, to a workshop with your daughter to prepare a meal. Besides the outcome, the tasty meal or tasty cookies that you baked or something nice that you cooked, it's a easy time where you could open up. You can talk about random stuff, about friends, about this, about that, about hopes, about dreams, about and then also if she gets compliments for this beautiful or tasty cookies that she prepared, okay. And she could decorate whatever she likes, the way that she likes. It's good. It helps a lot. To walk together, or travel together, or take her, or to do errands together, or shopping together. And during this time, hopefully you could speak about friends, about school, about this, about that, about whatever you want. It says here, date on a hot chocolate, with a hot chocolate. Sometimes in the evening or whatever, you sit and talk. Just the first story that we said about this boy that spoke with his mom and opened up. Sometimes, this conversation, it's not a threatening conversation or anything. It's cool. It's convenient. It's good. You can do stuff together. Sometimes you could create together, let's say, an album, memories, from the summer, from the winter, from this event, from that event, together. Let her decorate the way that she wants, like pick the pictures that she wants to put. It's a nice thing, you remember all kind of a nice experience that way you had with each other. It adds and makes the bond even stronger. Play together. Let her decide which game she wants to play, and even sit on the floor with her on the carpet together, and let her teach you. They know so much. They can teach you so much. Or sometimes even sit next to the computer. You'll be amazed how fast they are. How they know all kind of stuff that we're not aware. We don't know. Okay, and it's a nice thing when they feel. Another thing that I saw, and I think it's a beautiful idea, exchange duties. You heard about that? Reverse duties, you heard about that? You decide that for a whole day, you become the child, she becomes the mom. You know how brilliant it is? You know how brilliant it is? First of all, they learn what does it mean, responsibility? How not easy it is for you to be awake at night for this baby and for that baby, and to do dinner, to make sure that and to make sure that everyone eats, and they're responsible for all the kids to go to the shower. They start screaming. They understand whatever you go through, when you want them to be ready to do their homework, and you take the child's outlook. You sit and you scream and you complain and you sometimes make fun of their behavior. Sometimes they may understand how funny, how silly they are sometimes, but it's so beautiful because they may understand you may understand them also. It's a very, you do it once in a blue moon, you don't do it very often, but it's a good thing to do also.
I do it all the time.
Huh?
No.
Yeah, so
my kids, for example, my girls, when they go shopping, they want to be alone. Only with her, or specifically alone. Like don't take if everybody else
because
comes.
they want their own attention.
No, only me. Yes, they can't just go. Which one of you are by yourselves?
No, but once a month, let's say, once in 2 months, if you have a Baruch Hashem big family or something, you make time with her. You say, okay, next month on this and this day we have a date. So it's good, Or even go to the cafe and sit with her for half an hour. It doesn't have to be a long time. And you speak. She feels so good when you give her attention. And you buy her a piece of cake or something. They feel excellent.
Yeah.
They come with so much good energy afterwards back to the house. In the world, there are all types of plants.
Yeah.
Okay? All type of sorts, all type of plants. Some plants, okay, are huge, like huge trees, big trees, thick trees, okay? Some are little bushes, some are flowers, some are just grass, some all types, right? All these vegetations, okay, everything needs something different. Some needs sunlight, some needs shade, some needs a lot of water, especially on top. Some needs just water underneath. Some don't want too much water. If you put too much water, you kill them. Some needs this fertilization. Some needs warmth of the sun. Okay, every plant needs a different thing, and the key is to know what this plant needs, and if you deal with this, you care of it the right way, it's flourishing. If not, you can destroy it. It can die. It could be dried out or whatever, right? Same are with kids. Every child is different. In Hebrew we say chanoch lanar al pi darko. Even though they are both in one family, they have different quality traits. They have different needs. One needs more attention. One doesn't need that attention. One needs to sit with him a little bit more with homework. One needs to encourage him outside. One needs to encourage him inside. And you have to be alert. Once they asked Harav Eliashib who could be the best educator, okay, he said a parent is the best educator. We tend today to give this responsibility to the schools, the teacher, the principal, the Beis Yaakov, or whatever, the other school. But it's our obligation, and we need to know the best, okay, what our child needs. And so every child needs something else, and we have to be on top of it to make sure that we don't. Sometimes it happens that we do mistakes, and we learn from these mistakes, okay? As long as you speak to a child and you express and explain. And there was this lady by the name Penina that always was very, very average. Nothing special. Never got great grades in her tests, or was always shy, quiet, didn't have so much self-esteem. And she grew up like this. She got married. She had her first boy. And when this boy was born, one day when she was lighting candles for Shabbat, she started crying. She says, Hashem, I grew up with so much deficiencies. She felt that she was too shy. She wasn't talkative. She wasn't social like all her friends. And she didn't want her child to be like that. She said, Hashem, please, please, you give to my child whatever I cannot give it to him. She cried and cried and cried and cried. Every Shabbat like that. I don't know, half an hour by the lighting candles, she prays for this child to become social, to be a giving person, to be, a source of inspiration, not like her. And when her son grew up, Bemet, he was the most lovable child in the class. Everyone liked him. He was so kind. He used to help his friends in tests, in homework. Every time you need to volunteer to do something, he was the first one. He was such a lovely boy, Where did it come from? She herself couldn't give it to him. But with her prayers, we could do so much. So this is a very important thing, to pray for the children, to pray for their education. Yaakov also in this parasha, he says, "Hamalach hagoloti." Okay, we say it every time. Also nighttime, Kachma, we say, "Yavarech et hanarim, v'yikara behem shmi v'shem avotai Avraham v'Yitzchak v'yidgu larov v'kerov haaretz." Because Yosef had such a good eye, it wasn't negative, wasn't jealous at his brothers, wasn't avenging, okay? He blessed him with v'yidgu larov. Your children are going to multiply like fish. Fish don't have ayn hara, don't have evil eye, don't have ayn hara. Yeah, so this is what he blessed them. And we have to understand that our children is the best blessing that we have. Let me end with this story that I read about the Chafetz Chaim. Once a man came to the Chafetz Chaim. He bought a lottery ticket, and he wanted the Chafetz Chaim to bless him that he's going to win the jackpot. Okay? So the one that would make him enter into the rabbi's chamber told him, you came here for a lot. Don't say it to the rabbi. The rabbi don't like to give this kind of blessings. What, you want to give him a small, fast remedy to become rich? He doesn't like to give this kind of blessings. So he told him, okay, he came into the rabbi, and the rabbi told him, I bless you, that is Hashem, יהיה לך מספיק פרנסה, you're going to raise your children, לחופה, לתורה, למעשים טובים, regular blessing. He didn't like it. So, but he couldn't say anything. The next day he came again to the rabbi. Maybe the rabbi forgot that I was inside, and he wanted to get this blessing to win the jackpot. Again, the rabbi said the same blessing. He didn't like it. So he stood there for a while, didn't know what to say, and the Chavetz Chaim understood what he wanted. He told him, the Chavetz Chaim, there are some people that when you ask them, how are you? He says, not bad, not bad, but could be better. Sometimes this is what they say. Who said the Chavetz Chaim, if there could be better, will be better for you? Who said that if you're going to get this big amount of money, it's for your own benefit? Who said? Sometimes rich people, they suffer a lot because they have too much money. The kids don't know how to handle it, and they over-abuse the fact that they have money. Who said it's good for you? So the Chavetz Chaim told him that when somebody comes to me and asks for a lot of money, I bless him with good children, because this is the best blessing that you can get. Good children. More than any amount of money that you can win in the lottery. And this is my blessing to you. B'ezrat Hashem. Good kids, and lots of nachat from them, and Hashem would save all of us from Ain Hara, ובעזרת השם בשורות טובות וכל הישועות. Thank you so much. God bless you.